Hello, friends. You are listening to the concluding part of the Revolution Untold Story of Indian Freedom Struggle episode on Hyder Ali.
Welcome to the Revolution Untold Story of Indian Freedom Struggle. I'm Shushmita Mazumdar, your host.
And I am Kaushik Mazumdar, your co-host. Hyder was already annoyed with the British, which further increased as the British had established a fortified outpost at Vellore.
In course of history, it seems though the Nizam had struck a deal with the British Madras Presidency for their support, did so with the expectation that when Hyder Ali was prepared for war, the deal with the British would be broken.
The diplomatic maneuvering resulted in the start of the First Anglo-Mysore War in 1767.
In January the same year, the Marathas, possibly anticipating movements by the Nizam, invaded northern Mysore. They reached as far south as the Tungabhadra River and en route recovered the territories earlier won by Hyder Ali.
Eventually, in exchange of payments of 30 lakh rupees, the Marathas agreed to withdraw north of the Krishna River. By March, when the Nizam began his invasion, they had already withdrawn.
The Nizam advanced as far as Bangalore, accompanied by 2 battalions of company troops under Colonel Joseph Smith. In June, he sent his 17-year-old son Tipu Sultan to negotiate with the Nizam.
The young diplomat arrived in the Nizam camp with gifts that included cash, jewels, 10 horses, and 5 trained elephants.
In just 1 week, Tipu charmed the Nizam into switching sides and joining the Mysorean fight against the British.
Soon, Colonel Smith discovered that the Hyder Ali and the Nizam were negotiating an alliance and consequently withdrew most of his troops to the Carnatic frontier.
Eventually, the first alliance against the British was formed between 2 of the strongest local powers at that time in southern India.
Hyder Ali paid 18 lakhs rupees for the invasion to end, and Nizam agreed to recognize Hyder's son Tipu Sultan as Nawab of the Carnatic once that territory was conquered.
Despite such a huge alliance that could have changed the course of history was formed probably at the right jiff, but lack of trust among the sides eventually failed the alliance.
In August 1767, the diplomatic maneuver by Hyder Ali and Nizam resulted in commencement of the First Anglo-Mysore War with an attack against a company outpost at Changama by the combined Mysore-Hyderabad army under Hyder Ali's command.
Tipu Sultan then led a cavalry raid on Madras itself, but his father suffered a defeat in the hands of the British at Tiruvannamalai and had to call his son back.
With the onset of the monsoon season, Hyder Ali decided to take the unusual step of continuing to fight against the monsoon rains instead of adopting the usual practice of suspending operations because of the difficult conditions the weather created for armies.
Together with Tipu, he captured 2 British forts. The Mysorean army was besieging the 3rd fort when British reinforcements arrived. Tipu and his cavalry held off the British long enough to allow Hyder Ali's troop to retreat.
After maneuvering a few lesser outposts, he besieged Ambur in November 1767. He offered the British garrison commander large bribes in exchange for surrender, only to be refused. With the arrival of a relief column in early December, Hyder Ali was forced to leave the siege.
He retreated northward, covering the movements of the Nizam's forces. But he was betrayed by an entire force of European cavalry who deserted him to the British. In early 1768, the British Bombay Presidency in Bombay organized an expedition to Mysore's Malabar Coast territories.
Hyder Ali's fleet, which the British reported as numbering about 10 ships, deserted en masse, apparently because the captains were unhappy with Luft Ali Beg, a Mysorean cavalry officer, as fleet commander.
Owing to a British deception, Luft Ali Beg also withdrew much of the Mangalore garrison to move on what he perceived to be the British target, Onrey. The British consequently occupied Mangalore with much minimal opposition in February.
The Nizam had a clear agenda of recapturing the circus, but the failures of his campaign led to successful British advances in the northern circus. Accordingly, the Nizam went back into secret negotiations with the British, and this finally resulted in the split between Hyder Ali and the Nizam.
Nizam withdrew back to Hyderabad and eventually negotiated a new treaty with the British Company in 1768.
Around the very same time, the loss of the Nizam as an ally, Hyder Ali, apparently seeking an end to the conflict, made peace overtures to the British, but was rebuffed. Eventually, Hyder Ali had to withdraw from the Carnatic and move to Malabar.
Dispatching his son Tipu with an advance force, Hyder Ali followed and eventually recovered Mangalore and the other ports held by the British forces. In absence of Hyder from the Carnatic, the British recovered a lot of ground and advanced as far south as Dindigul.
They also persuaded the Marathas for an alliance with a proposal for besieging of Bangalore. And a large army led by Murari Rao joined the Colonel Smith accordingly. But in the meantime, Hyder returned to Bangalore from the Malabar and soon after launched an attack on the Maratha camp at Usukota.
But he was repulsed with heavy losses. He also attempted diplomatic measures to prevent a siege of Bangalore, offering to pay 10 lakh rupees and grant other land concessions in exchange for peace. Adamant at their stand to confirm the failure of the peace proposal, the British served him with an aggressive list of demands. As destined, the negotiations failed to reach a common ground.
Colonel Smith was convinced that he first had to inflict a major defeat on Hyder Ali in open battle to effectively besiege Bangalore. Company officials blamed Smith for the failure to decisively defeat of Hyder and recalled him to Madras.
Hyder took the opportunity to besiege Hosur, and Colonel Wood marched in relief of the town. As Wood approached, Hyder raised the siege, sneaked around Wood's column, and attacked his baggage train near Bhagalpur. Hyder successfully captured supplies and arms and drove Wood in disgrace towards Venkatagiri.
Wood was consequently recalled and replaced by Colonel Lang. Hyder Ali, a great war strategist, took this opportunity to raise additional forces in Mysore and went on the offensive with two armies instead of one.
Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan went on a tour up the coast, capturing forts and British-held cities. The Mysoreans were threatening to dislodge the British from their key east coast port of Madras. This prompted the British to send an envoy to discuss peace. But the subject of Hyder's old enmity with the Nawab of the Carnatic, the long-standing ally restricted the negotiations from reaching anywhere.
While the company battalions were busy maneuvering to counter Hyder's main force, Hyder surprised company authorities by reaching the gates of Madras with his other set of army. Madras had been left nearly defenseless by this move of Hyder Ali and eventually compelled the company to negotiate further.
Hyder wanted an alliance of mutual defense and offense with the purpose of desired diplomatic leverage against the Marathas. The company refused to accede to an offensive military treaty but both sides agreed to return to their pre-war boundaries and to come to each other's aid in case of an attack by any other power. While this treaty would conclude the First Anglo-Mysore War, but the respite was short-lived, as it's the same treaty that would set the stage for the Second Anglo-Mysore War.
Throughout almost the 60s and 70s, Mysore and Marathas were busy battling the territorial wars. While Hyder Ali had, time and again, proved his skills as a war strategist, the Marathas had always proved to be the one of the strongest competitors.
Be it with the Nizam or the British, the rather frequently shifting political alliance had mostly gone against Hyder Ali. Following the Treaty of Mutual Defense signed to conclude the First Anglo-Mysore War, Hyder Ali, in belief of British assistance, took this opportunity to challenge the Marathas rather indirectly. Not only he refused to pay the tributes to the Marathas, but he also began demanding tributes from smaller states on the frontier between Maratha and the Mysorean territories.
In response, as expected, the Marathas responded by invading Mysore in November 1770. As per their treaty, Hyder expected and accordingly requested for British assistance.
But the company denied any military assistance to Hyder Ali against the Marathas. Probably this decision was influenced by Nawab of Arcot. During this invasion, the Marathas captured a large portion of northeastern Mysore.
Soon enough, by the next year, Nawab of Arcot, Muhammad Ali, started persuading the Madras government to form confederacy with Marathas and Nizam against the treaty and attack Mysore.
Almost around the same time, Hyder Ali was approached by the Marathas to put aside all the differences by far and unite.
Under the anticipation that by this move Marathas would gain too much power and even may threaten his position, he refused to form the new alliance.
As he was still hoping that British would respect the treaty, he informed them about the Maratha proposal. Also, Hyder Ali made it clear to the Madras presidency that if the British chose not to respect the treaty, then he would seek alliance with the French. Yet, the British, under persuasion of Muhammad Ali, lent nothing more than deaf ears to Hyder.
Britain and France came to blows over the 1776 rebellion in Britain's North American colonies. France, of course, supported the rebels. In retaliation, and to draw off French support from America, Britain has decided to push the French entirely out of India.
By that time, Hyder Ali had already committed to the French alliance. He was seeking for revenge over the British. While Hyder Ali began rebuilding his navy in 1778, the British army captured a key French holding, Pondicherry.
The following year, while the British was still involved in First Anglo-Maratha War, Ganesh Rao, an ambassador from the Pune Darbar, brought the proposal of a new confederacy with Hyder Ali. This time, the proposal even included the Nizam, who was displeased with the British for their action in Guntur. In return of the proposed alliance, the Marathas agreed to honor Hyder's claim to territories north of the Tungabhadra River and reduce the amount of tribute he was required to pay under earlier agreements.
In the meantime, the British grabbed the French-occupied port of Mahi on the Mysorean coast, through which Hyder Ali received much of his French-supplied equipment. In return, he provided troops for its defense. This attack on Mahi prompted Hyder Ali to join the proposed confederacy in alliance with the French and declare war against the British.
The Allies planned to make virtually simultaneous attack on British holdings throughout India. This would be the biggest confederacy against the British till now in India at that point of time. But eventually, diplomatic actions by Governor Warren Hastings and the company successfully convinced both the Nizam and the Marathas not to take up arms against them, leaving Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan to battle another Anglo-Mysore war on their own. The Second Anglo-Mysore War would last for almost 4 years.
During this war, Hyder Ali passed away, and Tipu Sultan rose to the power, providing himself a worthy heir to Ali. By the later part of 1783, while the British captured Mangalore in March 1783, Tipu Sultan arrived with his army and after recapturing Bednor, besieged and eventually captured Mangalore.
In the meantime, company officials received order from London to bring an end to the war and accordingly entered negotiations with Tipu. On 30th January, the garrison of Mangalore eventually surrendered to Tipu.
Finally, the war was brought to an end on 11th March 1784 with the signing of the Treaty of Mangalore, at which both sides agreed to restore the other's land to the status quo ante bellum, that is, the state existing before the war. This treaty was the last one where an Indian side dictated terms to the British.
We would conclude this episode at this juncture with Tipu Sultan leading the battle against the British East India Company.